I love Metrodvanias. I love the feeling of exploration and progression. Getting lost in these intriguing worlds and getting stronger as you adventure deeper into the game. And the sense of mastery that comes from using all the abilities you've acquired during your journey to breeze past obstacles and foes that pose a real challenge before. Like any other genre, there are a few staples commonly used as obstacles for the player and new abilities that allow you to overcome those obstacles. Things like sliding or rolling into a ball to get past small gaps, double jumping to reach higher places, and weapons that let you destroy certain objects to make progress. Axiom Verge is a Metrodvania through and through. You explore expansive areas, acquire new abilities, and use those abilities to reach new places. But while it follows this formula closely, Axiom Verge gets creative with some of the abilities you can acquire, and in doing so, it reinvents how you traverse through the environments, subverting your expectations and changing your perception of your surroundings in the process. Let me explain. If you played a couple of games that fall into the Metrodvania category, you've most likely internalized a few basic concepts. Is that ledge too high to reach? Better come back when I can jump higher. Is that opening too small? I guess I gotta go find an ability to cram myself in there. Reach a dead end, I'll come back when I can blow it open. You get the idea. While the game has some items that are more conventional by the genre standards, Axiom Verge does a great job at coming up with new ways for you, the player, to overcome all the obstacles it presents. And all those bits of knowledge you had previously learned, well, you might find they don't quite apply anymore, so you may have to think again. Your first roadblock are these GUI blocks. Luckily, there's a gun in the next room that can bust through them. Pretty standard so far, but I think this is a great way of setting the scene. Having an obstacle that sends you the right way at the beginning of the game is something that you, as a player, have seen endless times before. It's not even specific to Metrodvanias. In a way, this is telling you that you could expect to see the same kind of progression you're used to. Or can you? Next, you come across this switch. Okay, I guess I gotta go get an ability to jump higher. And if you explore a little bit further, you may come across these very obviously breakable blocks. Looks like I could break these if I had bombs or missiles. The fact that this game looks and feels so much like Metroid really invites these kind of assumptions too. You've dealt with these obstacles before, and therefore you have certain expectations about how to overcome them. Your first power-up is the Nova Gun. Metro games have a history of using different guns or lasers as keys, but at this point you haven't really encountered any locked doors that could be opened by a new weapon. And there's no immediate obvious way to use this new addition to your arsenal in order to move forward. So you backtrack and you find your way is blocked by the barrier you unlocked earlier, except now you can't reach the switch to open it. This is where the game starts to mess with the expectations you may have about how to progress. If you previously encounter another barrier like this one, with a switch just out of reach, you may have expected to be able to jump higher to get to it. But your new ability doesn't let you jump higher, it lets you shoot an orb that explodes into other tiny orbs. So you try your new gun and bam, gates open. Did you get a double jump ability to reach the switch? No. Were you expecting to be able to use the gun to reach the switch? Probably not. A similar thing happens with the laser drill, although its application is immediately clear. This one's a bit more subtle, I guess, but if you were expecting to blow through those rocks with bombs or missiles, you got a drill instead. From now on, you'll start seeing more of a new roadblock, these glitch tiles. Personally, I've never seen this before in a Metrodvania, and I love the glitch aesthetic, but I didn't know what to expect when it came to overcoming this obstacle. My best guess was a switch or an event that unlocked the paths. Enter the address disruptor. I was so excited when I found this item for the first time. The cool thing about the address disruptor is that not only it's unexpected, but it also serves multiple purposes. You get to interact with the glitch surfaces, but it's not just a key in the form of a laser. You can also unglitch parts of the environment to make platforms, and even glitch some enemies to change their behavior. The effect it has on different enemies varies as well, keeping you on your toes. Some enemies become passive or easier to deal with, while others change their behavior completely, sometimes becoming more aggressive and erratic. So you'll need to experiment and remember when is it a good idea to glitch enemies and when to use another means of attack. The next upgrade is the field disruptor, and this one's one of the more conventional ones, so let's move on. Next is the modified lab coat. and I love this one. You may have noticed a few places where there are upgrades or doorways behind solid walls with seemingly no way in. I especially remember seeing this door blocked from all directions. There are no suspicious tiles or small openings, just blocked. I eventually moved on, but it stuck in my mind. I had no idea how to get to it, and I couldn't think of a new upgrade that would make it possible. That is, until I got the code, which allows you to teleport or dash through walls. What I love about this is that games usually don't allow you to go through walls. They are there for a reason, to keep you in the game. So this is something you usually can only do through cheats. So it gives you this sense of doing something you're not supposed to do, and sometimes feeling like you're getting to places you shouldn't be in. The game does put some restrictions on it. You can't walk past any wall, only walls of a certain thickness. This allows the player some freedom while still having clear boundaries. In terms of progression, this item forces you to rewire your brain to some extent. Not all walls block your path anymore. You have to learn to identify which walls you can now dash through, and these walls don't always look the same. So it's not just about identifying a certain tile you can now walk past through, but rather a part of the environment, which constantly keeps you on your toes. I remember getting stuck because I didn't realize I could just walk past the wall. I think it would be cool to see this concept expanded a little bit further, by allowing the player to feel like they're really breaking the game, by allowing them to go to places that look and feel like they are out of bounds. The last upgrade I want to cover is of course the remote drone, which is Axiom Verge's answer to the morph ball. It lets you traverse smaller gaps just as the morph ball does, but unlike it, the drone is its own separate entity, complete with its own health bar and laser. This means that you can't simply make yourself tiny to clear an obstacle and go back to your bigger state, at least not until you get the drone teleport ability. But rather, you have to treat both characters as separate, sometimes playing sections exclusively as the drone in order to acquire a new ability, and sometimes using the drone to clear the way for traits. This not only opens up the gameplay, but it also brings new possibilities for challenges and puzzle solving. In addition to this, you can also love the drone, and once you can teleport to its location, it not only allows you to get past small gaps, but also reach higher places, making this upgrade more versatile than most, and opening up more areas for you to explore. And once again, if you are expecting to double jump your way up that high ledge, you actually get to throw your tiny drone up there. As I mentioned earlier, there are several items and upgrades that are a bit more conventional, but it's really cool to see these few new abilities that not only makes up the gameplay, but also recontextualize your previous knowledge of the genre by presenting new creative ways to progress through the game. So if you're currently working on a game, try thinking what assumptions players have about your game's genre, and what can you do to flip those expectations on their head. Did you feel Axiom Verge challenge any of your expectations about items and progression? Were you surprised by any of the power-ups or abilities? Let me know in the comments. If you like this content and want to see more of it, consider subscribing, and check out my Twitter and Instagram if you want to see more pixel art related things. Next video will be another devlog, hopefully. We'll see. See you next time.